Welcome to Inspire the Next Mind by Fazuz.a. For years, we've pretty much treated security like a final exam for our projects. It's the stressful, last-minute hurdle you just have to clear. But today, we're going to talk about a totally different philosophy, one that changes everything, building security in from the ground up. Let's see how we can make that shift from being a bottleneck to being the blueprint. So on the left, you've got the old way, right? Security as the gatekeeper. And let's be honest, this model always leads to conflict, project delays, and finding really expensive fixes way, way too late. But the new way, Secure by Design, it flips the script completely. It's all about collaboration, building on the solid foundation from day one. In short, we're taking security from being an obstacle and making it an essential part of the plan. Okay, so that sounds great in theory, but how do we actually pull this off? Well, it's not magic. It's about having the right tools. We really just need two key things: a blueprint to guide our whole design process and a shared language so we can all talk about threats in the same way. So let's open up that toolkit. First up, for our blueprint, we have something called TOGAF. Now, what's important is its Architecture Development Method, or ADM. Just think of this as a master plan. It gives us a structured, repeatable process for designing our systems, making sure we don't miss any of the crucial steps. And if TOGAF is the what, the blueprint, then STRIDE is the how. It's this brilliant threat modeling framework from Microsoft that gives us that shared language for security. It's basically a systematic way to put on an attacker's hat for a minute and ask, all right, how could this be broken? So let's dive a little deeper into this language of threats. See, by using a framework like STRIDE, we give our developers, our architects, and our security teams a shared vocabulary. And this is huge because it lets everyone move past just vague fears and start identifying specific risks that we can actually do something about. Which brings us to the core question, right? How do you think like an attacker? It can feel a little abstract, but STRIDE gives us this simple, really powerful mnemonic that guides our thinking. It breaks it all down into 6 distinct categories. First, S is for spoofing, and this is all about impersonation. The attacker is asking themselves, how can I pretend to be a valid user, or maybe even a trusted system? A classic example of this is a phishing email that looks like it's from HR, trying to trick an employee into giving up their password. Next up, T is for tampering. Here, the goal is to maliciously change data. The attacker is thinking, how can I modify something I'm not supposed to touch? For instance, just imagine a user intercepting a web request to change the price of an item in their shopping cart from $100 down to $1. It sounds simple, but it's a devastating attack on data integrity. R stands for repudiation, which is the threat of someone being able to deny they did something. An attacker's goal here is all about covering their tracks. Think about a rogue admin who deletes a critical database and then just claims, nope, wasn't me. My account must have been hacked. Without proper logging, how would you ever prove it was them? Then we have I for information disclosure. This is all about exposing sensitive data to people who shouldn't see it. And this can happen in some surprisingly simple ways. For example, a badly configured error message could accidentally leak an entire database connection string, basically handing an attacker the keys to the kingdom. D is for denial of service, or DOS. Here, the attacker's goal is pure disruption. They just want to make the system unavailable for legitimate users. This is often a brute force kind of attack, like bombarding a website's login page with so many requests that it just crashes under the load, locking everybody else out. And finally, E stands for elevation of privilege. And honestly, this is the holy grail for a lot of attackers. The question they're asking is, how can I turn my basic user account into a super powerful admin account? By finding and exploiting a system flaw, they can get access to controls and data they should have never been able to touch. So we've got our blueprint, TOGAF, and our language, STRIDE. Now for the most powerful part, putting them together. And the magic here isn't in adding some new, separate security phase. It's about weaving this security lens into the 3 core design phases that we're probably already using. The whole process flows really logically through 3 key phases. In Phase B, we use STRIDE to identify what it is we need to protect. Then, in Phase C, we design how we're going to protect it. And finally, in Phase D, we choose the specific tools we need to get the job done. Let's make this really practical. So look at Phase B. We're mapping out a business process, let's say customer checkout. We take a simple step, a user clicks pay, and we start applying our STRIDE questions. Can they tamper with the price? And just by asking that simple question, we've generated a concrete security requirement. We have to mitigate the risk of price tampering. Okay, so now in phase C, we take that requirement and we design a solution. Our analysis shows that the data coming from the user's browser all the way to our payment API, well, it's untrusted. So the mitigation is an architectural control. The API must ignore the price sent from the client and recalculate it on the server. Just like that, we've designed a specific control to solve a specific business risk. And finally, in phase D, our required controls actually drive our technology choices. That risk of spoofing we talked about earlier, the one about gaining admin access, well, that leads us to select a specific tool, like Okta, and a specific policy, like enforcing multi-factor authentication. Now, every technology choice is justified by a threat we've already identified. When you follow this process, something really amazing happens. You create the golden thread of security, a clear, traceable line from a high-level business risk all the way down to a specific piece of technology. This isn't just a technical exercise. This is how you build trust and prove the value of your work. This is the core idea, right here. This golden thread provides clear traceability for every single security decision. It's the perfect answer to that question we all get: why are we spending money on this? And here it is, the whole thread, laid out from start to finish. A business risk we identified in phase B leads to a security control we designed in phase C, which then justifies the technology we chose in phase D. This is what it truly means to build security in, not just bolt it on at the end. So, I'll leave you with this final thought to consider for your own projects. After seeing how all this connects, ask yourself, is your current security approach a bottleneck that just slows everyone down? Or is it a powerful blueprint for building stronger, more resilient systems right from the very beginning?